Hi guys, this is GSMDome and I'm here with the OnePlus 13. Finally, it was launched in China on November 1st, being one of the first phones with the Snapdragon 8 Elite processor inside, and we have it here in Europe at long last. So, what's new? First of all, we have a huge battery. We also have the promise of an excellent camera, and finally we get a white version of the phone. Usually we get a black version or a green version. This time it's pure white. They changed the camera design. It's no longer attached to the side via the module that went like a band here, like a doorknob of sorts, and it still has Hasselblad and it still has that triple position mute slider. We also have some accessories here. They're not bundled in our territory, at least. The price is very appealing, somewhere around 1,100 euros with a bundled OnePlus Watch 2 Air, at least in Eastern Europe where I'm at right now. So Snapdragon 8 Elite inside, 350 megapixel cameras. One of them has, two of them have LiDAR sensors. There's a triple prism periscope camera, so there's a lot going for it. Advanced vapor chamber for gaming, a lot of RAM, a lot of storage. So yeah, and of course an immersive front sight, and finally a flatter screen for gaming. Let's see what's in the box. Typical red box and the promise of Hasselblad. No charger in the box this time. And let's see here. So we have a quick guide. We have a safety guide. We have a red cable from USB-C to USB-A. And I'm sure that here somewhere should be a key. Yes, the metal key used to access the slots. And that's it. That's everything you're getting inside the box of the phone. Now, I know that OnePlus would like to brag about the fact that they were the first to launch a Snapdragon 8 Elite phone. The Snapdragon 8 Elite was announced in October in Hawaii by Qualcomm. It's the first with Orion cores, not ARM cores, and Xiaomi 15 was the first to have that processor. OnePlus 13 is the second phone to have it. Now, accessories here, once again not bundled, but you can buy them separately. We have this wireless charger, this magnetic charger, which is pretty cool actually. The AirVook 50 watt. You can either place it at the back of the phone and start charging like this. It has a special fan which can start cooling the phone, and also a sandstone magnetic case. The best thing about the case is that it still lets you charge the phone wirelessly even when it's attached. I know it looks weird to have a white phone with a black case, but once again, at least you have the whole magnetic thing going for it. So it doesn't stick very well, I give it that much, unless you place it properly to the center of the phone. Keep in mind that thing. There will be an animation showing you how to properly do that. And this cooler here will start, get the cooling going on, and 50-watt charging is very fast for wireless. Keep in mind that Samsung's phones only offer like, I don't know, 15 watts or 7 or things like that. The foldable ones, I mean. Okay, so those are the accessories we're playing with. We've seen everything available inside the case. Time to talk about other specs and features. So first of all, we're going to address the design, but let me just put those little thingies to the side. So back to the phone. Okay, so it's time to discuss the design. It measures 8.5 millimeters in thickness. However, it depends. There are versions which are thicker or lighter. This one has glass at the back. There's also one with vegan leather. So yeah. In principle, 8.5 millimeters in thickness and a weight of 210 grams. It's got glass at the front side with a special crystal shield, which is supposed to be much more resilient than the predecessor. And at the back side, glass as well, or silicone polymer if you're buying the Eco leather version. The frame is made of aluminum, it's flat, and we still have the button here, the mute slider, which has a very satisfying pull to it and changes the status of the phone. It's got IP68 and IP69 certification, which means it resists up to 1.5 meters, up to 30 minutes of being sunk. The finishing here reminds me of marble, so yeah, that's pretty cool. It can also take up to 80 degrees Celsius water from 4 directions with strong jets. That's IP69. Comes in 3 colors. It's called one is called Midnight, one is called Arctic Dawn, which is this one here, and one is called Black Eclipse. Excuse me. So yeah. One of the versions includes the first microfiber vegan microfiber that we've seen in the mobile world, apparently. We have Arctic Dawn, once again, with a glass that glides. That's the promise from OnePlus. Now we go to the front side and we analyze the screen. It's a pretty bright screen. It's very hard for me to calibrate to film it properly. So we're at something like 40% right now. It's a 6.82-inch panel. It's of the AMOLED variety, LTPO AMOLED actually. 3168 over 1440 pixels and up to huge 4500 nits. The leaks have mentioned that S25 Ultra will be 3000 nits. The refresh rate fluctuates between 1 and 120 Hz because of the LTPO thing. We have 1 billion colors shown, Dolby Vision, HDR10+, and I think it's time to go inside the phone where you can find the Snapdragon 8 Elite mobile platform. It uses Orion cores, it's got an Adreno 830 GPU, 3nm chip here. It's accompanied by an impressive 16 gigs of RAM. You can add extra via the RAM expansion, 12 gigs, and it's LPDDR5X. The storage is half a terabyte, 1512 gigs. There's also a version with 1 terabyte, a UFS 4.0 storage. Now the kicker here is the battery, 6000 mAh silicon carbon battery, pretty impressive, 100 watts wire charging, supposed to reach 100% in 36 minutes. There's also 50 watt wireless charging and 10 watt reverse wireless charging and a 5 watt reverse wired charging. I'm shocked to see how fast the reverse wireless charging works. Stereo speakers, there's one at the bottom and either one at the top here, or it uses the earpiece, or maybe a combo of both. I see those 3 dots here. Actually, one of them is the infrared emitter. What else? Of course, we have 5G connectivity. We also have Wi-Fi 7 available. We got Bluetooth 5.4, NFC, GPS dual band. There's an USB-C 3.2 port at the bottom side, dual SIM setup, and in the display rests a fingerprint scanner. One of my first impressions is that the power button should have been placed lower. I'm tempted to press it here, not here. Okay, that's pretty much it. But if you want to get in depth, I can also talk about the sensors because there's plenty of them. I'm talking about the proximity, ambient light sensor, color temperature sensor, compacts, accelerometer, gyroscope, and yeah, a lot of sensors. Hall sensor included, and of course those for the cameras. Okay, so speaking of sensors, Hall sensor, there's a laser focus sensor and a color spectrum sensor. Since I keep mentioning the cameras, it's probably high time I talked about the punch hole here that we have at the top of the screen. It's a 32 megapixel selfie shooter with a 4K 60 frames per second capture and f2.4 aperture. Things get interesting at the backside. You can see the H logo, Hasselblad. It's a Swedish company, the first to place a camera on the moon. They were there during the human moon landing. The first mission with people walking on the moon, they were there. So we have 3 50 megapixel cameras. The main one is a Sony Litia 808 50 megapixel sensor, f1.6 aperture and optical image stabilization. This one is supposed to be pretty special because it has a special coating which prevents ghosting and reflections. The second 50 megapixel camera, it's a periscope telephoto with 3x optical zoom. It has triple prisms. Nowadays phones have 1 prism, this one has 3 of them. f2.6 aperture and face detection, autofocus and its own stabilization, plus a Sony Litia 600 sensor this time. The third 50 megapixel camera is, once again, this one is an ultra wide, 120 degrees, and it uses an ISOCELL JN5 from Samsung, f2.0 aperture. The camera can shoot 8K video at 30 frames per second, and it's got a ton of cool features. It's got a dual LED flash, by the way, and Hasselblad color. So in the more section, you're treated to movie, long exposure, tilt shift, panorama, time-lapse, dock scanner, high resolution, slow-mo, dual view, and X-pan. Long exposure is also able to freeze images. Then we have portrait. Portrait now includes a bunch of new filters like fresh, emerald, and clear. Those are the new ones. They're inspired by the world of film camera. And here we also have extra light sources. You can also take portraits in 3 focal lengths, excuse me. Then we have the night mode with a special tripod mode to keep things fixed if you want to make a time-lapse of stars. Then we have the photo mode here with a live photo with this feature action mode, which doubles the frame rate from 30 to 60 frames per second, so you can capture fast-moving objects. We got the exposure set up here. I can see that the zoom goes up to 6x and it's still pretty impressive. And I've seen shots with 30x from this phone with much less noise than I expected. Okay, and then there's the video with ultra steady with HDR video with Dolby Vision 10-bit. It's pretty cool, a lot of details, looks fine on a TV, and also 8K is mentioned here. And of course master, if you want to take things into your own hands, and if you want to work with a raw file, if you want to go to the pro mode and tweak stuff here, things are available from that area. Okay, I think this is pretty much it as far as the camera is concerned. We can also do other stuff here, like for example, take an old picture and restore it up to a 4K resolution with a special AI function. But more about the AI soon. Oh, by the way, I forgot to show you something. There's a feature here. It's an interesting one. It's called sound focus. We can properly focus on sounds, on instruments in an orchestra when you're filming. Okay, so let's get to the software. It's Oxygen OS 15 applied on top of Android 15, which is pretty cool if you ask me. They changed some of the iconography. The first thing I noticed is that these bubbles here seems to have changed from the previous Oxygen OS. That's one of my first impressions. I'm also curious about the wallpapers and icons. Icon customization seems to be borrowed from Oppo, but it has a new flavor as well. Widgets also looking brand new, minimalistic, but colder colors than before, I would say. The AI features includes AI detail boost. So once again, you take an older photograph and you make it more detailed up to 4K. There's AI unblur and AI reflection eraser, which can be applied on your photos. So yeah, those are available on the pics you've taken. If you want to unblur stuff and things like that, you can go to the edit. You have your suggestions, have your cropping, tools, more. But most of the stuff I mentioned before happened automatically, keep in mind. We also have an intelligent search on the phone, contextual search and voice search, and we even have note-taking with AI. So these are the notes. And you can also view notebooks, you can do to-do lists. And as you're typing, you can have suggestions to change your tone, to elaborate, make it shorter. So yeah, there's also circle to search. So if I keep pressed here and I circle this, I can find out more info about the default apps. So if I want to, let's say I'm inside the previous area where I was here, and I want to find out what this brand is. It's Nutella, and I found it out instantly. Yeah, Circle to Search is coming on more phones. It arrived on Xiaomi, it arrived on Oppo, it arrived on a lot of phones, but it started with Samsung. Okay, there's also pass scan. You can scan boarding passes from your plane and put them in your Google Wallet. That's another new cool thing. There's also something called Magic Compose. So if you're trying to compose an email, it's available in Gmail, it's available in the messages. So yeah, you can also have it suggest you various stuff. I'm still learning how to use it, so if you want to compose something, you'll definitely get more and more suggestions as you type. That's Magic Compose. Of course, there's Google Gemini, should be available here somewhere. This is Gemini. You can chat with, you can make it verify code. If you're a code writer, you can have it write an essay for you, a poetry, generate images if you have the full subscription. And by the way, since you're at the software department, we also have a gaming area here with a lot of cool features, gaming data captures and settings, quite a few of them. By the way, we have a huge vapor chamber here, something like 9,000 millimeters square. And just so you know, we're getting 4 years of Android updates for this handset, 4 years. Some companies are offering 7, but 4 should be good enough. We also have features related to eye care. So if you go to the display area, we got screen color mode, eye comfort and sleep. There's a bedtime mode, there's eye comfort, anti-flicker. So not only Honor is doing this, but also the folks of OnePlus are focusing on our eye protection a bit more. And a special dual gaming antenna has also been included. Plus a feature taken from Oppo phones called Beacon Link. It lets you connect with a walkie-talkie mode, Bluetooth between 2 OnePlus phones. If you don't have a signal, if you're in a tunnel or are underground, there's a walkie-talkie mode with Beacon Link. That's pretty much it. This one is a very powerful phone with Snapdragon 8 Elite. I find it will be great for gaming. Have a huge expectation from its camera with triple prism periscope. And of course, usually Hasselblad colors have become a staple of the OnePlus world lately. We'll be able to learn more in the review soon. Goodbye.